Hi guys, this is Rajiv Kumar from Mirketa Inc. I manage Round Robin product at Mirketa. I'll be giving you a demo of the product today. Before I get started with the demo, I'll tell you a little bit about the company. Mirketa is a full-service Salesforce Silver consulting partner based out of San Ramon, California. We have multiple apps on AppExchange. We got Delphi, that's the AI-based sales forecasting application. Round Robin Distributor that I'll be demoing today. Advitya is a Salesforce data dedupe app. eCourier is an app that lets you do report delivery to anybody outside Salesforce org that you have. Elixir, that's our domain-specific solution. That's the electronic health medical record system built on Salesforce Health Cloud. In terms of our services, we are a full-service Salesforce consulting partner. We do Salesforce strategy and architecture work, Salesforce implementation and integration work, anything around data analytics using Einstein. We would be one of the fewer companies that have good hands-on experience on Salesforce Einstein. We do a lot of custom app development. We work with different ISVs as well to build apps for them on Salesforce. And lastly, we do have our own solution built for Salesforce DevOps. So we have done Jenkins-based Salesforce DevOps for continuous delivery, continuous deployment. We also do deployment using AutoRabbit and other tools that are available in the market. Now jumping on to Round Robin Distributor. So this is one of our popular apps on AppExchange. We ended up building it back in 2015, and essentially everybody that we work with in consulting engagement more or less asked for some intelligent way of assigning cases, leads, opportunities, and accounts, and we would build custom solutions for those. And as we heard more of this, we ended up building an app, which is RRD now. We did provide this app for free in the early stage of the app, and we had tons of downloads. People started asking for more features and support, and we had to monetize it. So we do have the full app with a lot of good features. We do provide full technical support between the period of 5 a.m. Pacific time to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And if you've been in the market for Round Robin Distributor type of product, some of these features that I'm going to talk about may sound familiar to you. Starting with capping. So most of these apps in the market, they would give you some form of caps, which is essentially how many leads a person can have, or how many cases a person can have, how many open cases a person can have. And you can define capping at individual level. You can define capping at the team level. You could, once you have multiple teams working, especially for larger companies, having distributed teams across the globe, having an easy way to manage your teams. So essentially who is in the team, who is not in the team, and sometimes teams are made seasonal. So we do provide a dashboard that lets you manage your team. If you have larger team working different time zones, we do let you provide a time zone specific calendar for your team members. So I could be a part of a particular team, but I work only Pacific time. So the leads or cases that are coming during Pacific time, I get considered for those. Otherwise, I'm not going to get those cases or leads assigned to me. Definitely, the next feature would be, the distribution schedule. Essentially, for individuals, they may work certain time zone. They can work during certain time zone, certain time periods. So I can work, let's say, 9 to 12, then I take a 3-hour break, pick up my kids, drop them home, and then come back from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock Pacific. So my time schedule for getting cases assigned to me is going to depend on what time I'm available. And RRD lets you assign different time schedules for different team members. As I'm stepping out as a team member, I could turn on and off my availability. It's a pretty handy feature. The managers don't have to worry about leads getting assigned to people who have went out for lunch or taken a day off. You could definitely, as you go working on capping, you can define the time period for which the cap applies. So you can have hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. So essentially what it means is if you say, somebody can't have more than 10 leads, then you can qualify that they can't have 10 leads per hour or per day or per week or per month. And you can reset the caps, at the time, whether hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. We are probably one of the fewer apps in the market that lets you define relationships in the context of leads and cases. So the way we use that is, if a lead comes from somebody that I'm already dealing with, it's going to bypass RRD distribution. It's going to come to the person who's dealing with this lead. Or more importantly, if you're working on a particular case and the same person opens another case, it's going to go back to the person bypassing RRD altogether. We do let you pick assignment based on whether you want to assign to anybody or you want to assign only people who are logged on. So we call it live or not live agents. You could assign leads, cases, account opportunities from a queue onto a queue. We provide that flexibility. And you could assign leads based on, if leads or cases or account, the criteria, the attributes change, we let you reassign using RRD logic, but manually. You could click on a button and the lead goes through the RRD distribution process again, and it gets assigned to whoever is eligible now based on the new parameters that you have on the case, leads, or whatever it may be. One of the coolest features that we have is we let you do your own coding, and we give you a piece of code that you can call from your code. So essentially, if you want to run round robin distribution logic on a bunch of leads or cases that you're reassigning, you can write your own logic, and you can essentially call RRD, and it goes through this distribution logic and does the reassignment as needed. You could do leads from any source. You can do case from any origin. You can integrate your assignments to existing queues and assignment rules. You can integrate RRD with any marketing automation tool that you're using. You can build your custom reports. We provide some basic reports to start with, and you could actually use your advanced level reports, using our data. So you have full access to what case got assigned to who, when. You can create all kind of nice reports in case you need to show people how the distribution has been working. You could, one of the features that our clients wanted us to add essentially was capping is fine, but when it comes down to cases, and especially critical cases, you would like to bypass capping, or you would like to bypass time zone or the time limit. We let you do that. Essentially, if you want to have critical cases get assigned regardless of what the capping position is, you could already let you do that. With that, I'm done with the key feature highlights, and I'm going to talk about different features. I'm going to go with the demo. I might emphasize on things that are not called out here, but I'll show you in the demo as well. In terms of the demo agenda, I'm going to go through a demo of the lead process. You could do the same for accounts, opportunities, and cases. It works exactly the same way. So I'm going to go through configuring RRD for leads. I'm going to set up a new team. I'm going to set up some caps. I'm going to configure some team members and put some caps in them, configure some rules, and show you, how easy it is. And as you're going to create a lead, it's going to go through the distribution engine, and essentially it's going to show the distribution as it happens. And towards the end, I'm going to use our capabilities for relationship-based assignments. I'm going to show you how you're going to configure that in the system and how it works. Show you discussing, I'll discuss reassignment feature, how the manual reassignment that I talked about earlier using a button would work, and then how the queue distribution works. All right, on to the demo. So once you install the RRD in your org, which by the way is free to install, you get a 30-day trial period, and we can extend the trial in case you want to try it out more. Once you install it, just like any other app, you're going to see it under the app list, and you pick RRD, and the menu item that you're going to see is going to be the default RRD menu items. So essentially, With RRD menu items, you're going to see configuration screen, which is going to be where you do the basic configuration. This screen shows up to you first time, and you can elect not to see it again. And I'm going to just keep it on because I use this org for demo. I'm going to say configure RRD. When you go into the configuration, you're going to see the screen where you get to do global configuration, and then you get to do configuration specific to the object that you're going to be distributing using RRD. We have a pretty detailed tutorial document that you get a link from configuration page. Essentially, it walks you through each step, each function step by step, and so you can actually follow this configure RRD. If you're having any trouble, of course, you can always call us. Coming back to the configuration screen here, so let me walk us through first what the global settings look like. So the global settings is going to be the capping that we just earlier talked about, what the duration for capping is going to be. So you get to pick hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. Once you pick that up, you would say, if you do have RRD queue, so if you have items that get put into the queue because nobody was available to take those items, or the team already had met that quota for the day or for the hour, RRD sends things into a queue. So how often you want that queue to be emptied, depending upon how you want to run it, you have hourly and daily, the two options. Some of our clients have customized that option to get every 15 minutes. We give a specific code that get deployed into the org for 15-minute cycle. Essentially, you can run anytime you want, and by default, you get hourly and daily options. So the way that option works is, once a queue gets filled, whatever item get into the queue, RRD is going to look at it, run the batch every hour or daily or 15 minutes, and see who we need to get the new leads assigned to from the queue. That's the purpose of that. You could skip weekends, so companies that are providing no support on the weekend, they don't want cases to get assigned over the weekend, so you wait till Monday morning. Essentially, if you want to go that route, you just say don't assign over the weekends. All right, so now coming back to object-specific items, we have lead, and that's what I'm going to do the demo for. You get to pick whether you want to do assignments for all users, or you want to do only logged on users, online and all. So those are the two options that you get here. So I'm going to keep all because I'm the only one logged on, and I want to assign to other people that are not logged on to just demo on the product. Once a lead gets assigned, how do you want to notify individuals? You could do email, you can do tasks, or you can do both. You also have an option to pick whether you want to get somebody who's been working with a lead in a company. Do you want RRD to bypass the distribution and assign it based on a person who's already working with that specific company or individual? You can pick any field that exists on lead, or if you have a complex criteria, you could actually assign a custom field, a formula field that we recommend. And the purpose of that is going to be to identify what the relationship is going to be. So you can say, let's say, a city and the company name. A combination of that, you would say, I want to be using that to assign leads based on relationship. Or you can do a combination of email, city, and company name and things like that. So you can decide anything you want. RRD essentially would look at those fields and figure this out for you. In demo environment, I got lead relationship identifier as a field that I configured. I'm going to use that. I can opt to do queue assignment. That means any lead that's coming, I don't want the real-time distribution. I'm going to send it to RRD queue, and that queue gets flushed out every hour, every day, depending on the frequency that I picked up. Once I'm done with the basic configuration setting, I'm going to save and go to the next step, which is where I'm going to assign, create new teams, create the distribution logic, put some limits and things like that. So I'm here on the team screen now. I'm going to say create a new team. I'm going to pick the team to be a leads team. And as I'm going to go through this,
So I'm going to be creating a new team and the criteria for lead distribution. Each team, as you create, is going to have a priority. And you basically, the way the priorities work is if you have multiple teams that qualify for the same distribution logic, the team with the higher priority is going to get distribution first. So we do that. We can give a name for your team. And in this case, I'm going to say Mirketa RRD demo 002. And at this time, I can also assign, what the capping limit on my team is going to be, and I can come back anytime I want and change the capping. And for this demo, I'm going to say let's do a cap of 3, or let's say 4, and go with that. And this team is active, owned by Rajiv, because I'm the one who's creating it, and I am done with team. Once I've created the team, obviously, like anything else you see in Salesforce, you're going to see a detail page. And in this detail page, I'm going to be assigning the distribution logic. And to make this simple, I'm going to use certain criteria that are straightforward, simple. I'm going to be able to pick anything that is part of my team fields. Anything custom, standard, I can pick, and a combination of that to a formula you can pick. So let's say I'm just going to keep it simple and say assign everything for this demo team, all leads to the demo team if they come from our San Ramon office area. And we save it. Once we got that, we can create team members to the team, add team members to the team, I'm sorry. And you could add anybody that has Salesforce licenses in your org, including people who have Force.com licenses. They may not be able to use your leads, but you could, in theory, assign. So let's pick some guys, and I'm going to pick LeBron James to be in my teams. And I am going to give LeBron James a record limit of 2. The record limit level, essentially there's no limit. That's what it means. And on the right, you see, so we got 1. LeBron is part of the team. Let's add another person to the team. Let's see, I do like Steph Curry being in the Bay Area. So I'm going to get him in my team as well. And for Steph, just because he's not feeling well these days, I'm going to keep a lower limit for him because he needs to have load management here. So we keep him here. So that's all I'm going to do for the team. Essentially, what I've done by doing, adding the team members, adding the qualification criteria, I've created a distribution logic now. Any new lead that's going to come in through lead creation process, whether it's through email or through your website or through whatever channel that you're getting leads from, will go through the distribution logic if it qualifies for the rules that we have assigned for distribution. So let's go through real quick a demo of how it works. I'm going to create a new lead. I am going to say this is coming from Rajiv. And I'm going to use my real email. And essentially, let's make sure I'm assigning this as San Ramon. We go with this. And one more time, let me check. I got everything right here. That's all I need. And we say save it. The lead got created. And RRD should look at this lead and assign it to LeBron James, which I think it did. Okay, here we go. Here's the owner, LeBron James. Now, when I create a new lead with the same qualification criteria, it should go back to Steph Curry because he's next in the line. I got everything already defined. I'm gonna just save it. I'm gonna say, yep, I'm getting duplicate logic error, so that's fine. Let's run it. And here, I should get, actually, I have done the relationship-based assignment. And since it's coming from the same person, same relationship, it did bypass Steph Curry. So let's do another one. And this time I'm gonna do a different lead instead of cloning the previous lead. Got this lead, let's create a new lead. And let's do this, Rajiv. Demo, company is a demo RRD 001. And let's change email to something demo at mirketa.com. Essentially, that's all I needed. I want to make sure I have the city because we are doing lead distribution based on the city right now. So I'm going to do that. Here we go. Lead is created. It should get qualified and get assigned to Steph Curry, which it did. So good thing is I did show you how the relationship-based assignment works. It did bypass RRD distribution last time because I was using a identifier, which was a company name combined with the city, which was the same when I created the two lead that got assigned to LeBron James. So let's go through more. If I'm working and I made some changes to the lead and I didn't want this lead to stay with me, and as you want to reassign based on the changes, you could pick an option and reassign using RRD. In that case, it's going to run RRD engine, and based on availability of the next person in the queue, is going to go through the reassignment logic and it's going to find somebody that can reassign. Now, one thing you can control with the manual option is you could essentially make this option available or not available based on the page layout and the profile that you want this option to have access to. So, for instance, sales manager may be able to manually reassign, but not the agent themselves. Now, that kind of covers the basics of your RRD demo on how the leads can happen. As you can see, we got LeBron, the new lead assigns to him. Let's do one more round of creating a lead, and I'll show you how the lead's going to go into a queue. So I'm going to, all right, so here we go. As I created another lead, it goes to round robin queue instead of getting assigned because LeBron and Steph both, they have their quota met. And it's going to show up into my queues. So when I go in here, essentially I got one lead in here. In order for this lead to get cleared up, it's going to wait 1 hour because I'm running my cycle hourly. Or I can actually, for the demo purposes, I can go back and change the limit and just assign it to somebody else. So I'm going to go and look at both my team members. I'm going to do Steph Curry a little bit more. And I can make his record limit to be, let's say 3, save it. And here we go in manual distribution. I'm going to say distribute the leads. It's essentially going to start the batch process in the back end. And this process you can run through your batch code as well. And we give you a line of code that you insert into your batch to call our process. So while that runs, let me show you about the team management capabilities. So team management is going to be, you can look at users by their name and see who belongs to who. This is smart search. type in the username and it's going to start showing, or pick the user if it's a small list like I did, and it shows you different teams that they're part of. And you could actually go and deactivate yourself from those teams. If you're a manager, you can deactivate, and if you're an individual, I'll show you how individuals going to do it, because this menu is not available to the users. It's going to be only to the managers or admins. I can look at a team and see what are the different teams I have and who the team members are. So you can pick up the team and see who they are. Going back to my earlier point on, if I'm a user and I don't want to be getting leads assigned to me, you actually have the option to add a lightning component any way you want. In this case, I have added here, activate, deactivate from RRD. We've also added on your home page where I can actually do, well, essentially you can put it any way you want. So you don't have to rely on us. You can pick that item and do the page layout, give access to the page layout to everybody, and they will have access to that menu item. All right, and let me show one more item real quick. We're going to show now the team schedule. So essentially, and different people can have different schedule. In this case, I'm going to go back to Steph Curry. He's not available these days to play most days. So schedule is a related object to the user, and I can create a value set for that. So I can say I want to do one schedule and copy to others. So let's say I want to do weekday schedule. So Monday I'm going to create, and it applies on Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, if I can only select, and Friday. So that's essentially what it is. And I can give the starting time and ending time for those. So I'm going to say I want to start 9 o'clock. And the time that you take here is the time of your org, essentially whatever the default time zone that org is in. And I would say I do finish at 18 hours. So it's a regular shift. I could have added multiple shift during the same day as well. So I can have multiple slots, like I was talking about, 9 to 12, then take a couple of hours break and start my day again. In this case, I'm just going to keep it simple, and I created all these. And once it's created, when RRD runs, it's going to see whether the time zone matches or the time schedule matches to what Steph Curry's schedule is. Otherwise, it's not going to assign anything to him. So that is about the user assignment, user schedules. Real quick, we can look into reports, and I'll show you reports. And as I said, you could do anything that you want. Based on the data that's available, you can actually create whatever reports. So typically, people would want to know who got what leads assigned. In this case, we got 2 leads assigned to Steph and 3 leads assigned to LeBron James today. And let me show you about the manual distribution. The queue is empty because the batch already had run. And essentially, that's pretty much what we have as part of our demo. If you do have any questions, you can always reach out to us, and I'll give you, the contact information, which is essentially Mirketa, our website. You can reach out and contact us through that, or can send an email directly at info@mirketa.com. Call us directly on our toll-free number 855-Mirketa, or if you want to send an email specific to RRD, send us a note saying rrd@mirketa.com. Hope you like the demo. Hope to hear from you guys if you have any more questions. Good luck with your search for the perfect tool for your account leads and opportunity distribution engine. Thanks a lot. Take care.